You ready? Ernie's ready to do battle.
Whatever, here we go.
We're going to show you guys everything that we possibly can in these next two videos about how to hunt from a tree saddle. Because we've got like, I don't know, 3 or 4 million questions about it.
Yeah, we get questions about like anything from comfort to how do you shoot out of it. There's a lot of different questions that we get, and we're going to try to cover just as many of those as we can and just kind of ask questions for these guys as we go.
Yeah, and we've used them some, so we can answer some of your questions, but we're bringing in the experts today from Tethrd. Greg and Ernie here, they know their stuff about saddles because you guys pretty much invented that whole thing, right? Or did invent the whole thing.
For this particular model, yep, that's us.
Yeah, we pretty much brought in the ultralight mentality into saddle hunting. I mean, saddle hunting has been around since the 80s, but there's never been a concerted effort to do an ultralight efficient system that's really user-friendly. So that's where we came in.
Ernie, first thing I want to do is show people how to set this up.
Okay, just like, do you want me to go through from like gear on the ground, put it on, or do you want me to gear wearing it, go to a tree?
That's a good question.
I think go gear on the ground. I think that's how we should start.
I think so.
Like, just put the system on, show people like, you know,
we're gonna make Ernie take everything off that he already just put on so that we can film him put it all back on for you guys.
Okay.
What do we got, Ernie?
So in its most basic form, here's our Tethrd Manus. I have this dressed up the way I would wear it for hunting. So I've got a cis hauler on each side. In there I carry my ropes, and we'll kind of show what these ropes are as we go. And this is the basic system. On the ground, the way you kind of get into it, step through your bridge, reach down, and grab your belt. One click there, reach down. These all have a hook, and if you look at the two different hooks, they actually face different directions. I rotate them so they're going to be facing down and attach right into the saddle webbing on the belt. There's a dedicated loop there. Kind of give that a little bit of an adjustment. Tighten everything up. And there's your basic system.
Now if you're going in to hunt, you would put that on at the truck just like that?
For me, it depends on how far I'm walking.
Okay.
If it's a short walk, yeah. But if I'm going to be walking a long ways, I just like to be as minimal as, put it in a pack, I'll put it on the base of the tree. I mean, it didn't take long.
Gotcha.
It's not noisy. For me, it's easier to put it on at the base of the tree if I got to go a long ways. But if I'm going half mile or under, yeah, I'll put it all on at the tree.
And I'm the opposite. I'll wear it every single time I walk in.
Yeah, that's what I've done too in the past, is just put it on.
And I access with my kayak a lot too. So I'll get it out at the truck, put on the saddle, and I'll just sit in my kayak with the thing on. So in 2 years, I don't think I've ever packed it in.
Point is though, and you're gonna get this message throughout these videos, like these are DIY guys at heart. There's a number of different ways to skin the cat when it comes to this stuff. You just gotta and that's the beauty of the saddle system, is you can personalize it to your own taste.
Yeah, you can do either or, and I think that's the exciting part about it, is you can kind of make it your own system.
Yep.
It's the best part about saddle hunting. Hands down, there's no right way. Everybody's going to do it different. And by mixing and matching pieces and doing whatever, you're going to get a system that works for you.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to have it a little bit different.
All right, so once you got it on, what it would
Okay, so next piece of gear I got over here, this is our Predator pack. I've got it dressed up with a couple of Molly pouches, but it's basically just a simple carrying pouch for your Predator. The way I've got it set up right now would be...
Predator is the saddle platform,
Yep,
right?
Predator is our saddle platform, and we'll put it here on a tree in just a couple minutes. But this is an early season pack that I would wear in, and so... These are a DIY strap that I added. The regular pack comes with more of a lightweight, streamlined strap, but just for the sake of the video, I thought I'd just explain that. So now I get to my tree. Everybody's gonna have a different step at this point, because everybody has to get up the tree. It's just a matter of, most people have their own preferred method, whether it's strap-on sticks, like a bunch of different manufacturers have, screw-in steps, some people are climbing up ropes. There's a bunch of different ways to get up and down the tree. That's kind of gonna be really particular to each hunter. So we're gonna kind of start as though we're at the top of that climbing method. This is my lineman's safety rope. And as I'm climbing, I would have this attached so that every step I take, I can advance this up. So I'm attached to the tree from the ground on the way up. Once I get up to the point where I want to say, okay, this is where I'm going to hunt, that's where I would reach into my pack, grab the Predator platform,
That's the nice thing with that lineman's belt is
yeah, I got both hands to work
free.
from. Yep. And what I would do a lot of times, and I don't have it here with me today, is have a piece of a Night Eyes wire tie here, because then I have it here and I can actually hang it right from the lineman's rope. Gives me two hands to work the strap. One loop on each side, cinch it tight. Fold this up, cinch it a little more tight. Give it a little bit of a downward push, and then set your platform. You may have to set it a couple of times and adjust your screw to get it perfect. But once it's in, you're rock solid. So now our platform's installed. I'm still attached to the tree with my lineman's rope. I reach down into my other pocket, bring out my tree tether.
He's way faster at this than us.
Well, he's only done it 5,000 times. So.
So at this point, I set my tether as high as I can reach from my climbing method. It may not be the height that my finished assembly is at, but it's going to work for me to get started. Reach down, clip into my bridge, and then I would step up onto my platform.
So that's an important step that I want to point out that he did. So I always like to tell people that you attach your tether to the tree before you climb onto that platform, because God forbid the worst thing happens and that platform totally fails. Now you're connected with two ropes, so you've got double safety.
Yeah,
so,
if your strap breaks or something like that, I mean...
Well, and statistically, when do accidents happen in tree stands? They happen when you're climbing up and down onto the platform.
Right.
So in that scenario, you want to have you want to be as safe as possible. So tie that tether on before you climb onto the platform, and then worst case scenario happens, you're still safe.
I want you to pop back down, Ernie, real quick, if you could,
Sure.
and show people how to operate that ropeman.
Sure.
Because, I mean, that is a slick little device that I really like on mine, you know, and you notice as soon as Ernie put his tether on, he cinched that down. So, like, he adjusted his bridge tension
Exactly.
with that.
Yep. So I've got two of them. I like to run one on my lineman's, and the reason is every tree, as you get higher and higher, the tree gets skinnier. And if you're just running a Prusik, then you got to reach down with two hands to undo the Prusik and get it going.
And that's what I currently have on my hunting harness for my tree stand.
Yep.
It's a Prusik knot, and
Yep.
it's a pain.
They're here. Everybody has them on their ropes. It's the standard way of doing it.
But they suck. They're terrible. They work, but
They absolutely
suck.
work, but
Yeah.
there's definitely a better way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now as the tree gets skinnier, I can reach down and grab this tail with one hand and adjust, and I've just taken all the slack out of that.
Now, how do you go opposite?
So for me to go opposite, what I would do is I reach under here and put two fingers above it, one here. Now you got to take the weight off of it because this does not have a safety catch, and if you're not supported, you can go right off the end of the rope. We always have a big stopper knot on the end of there to prevent that exact thing from happening, but it's still gonna, cause you to jitter a little bit if you start going backwards.
Right.
But the easiest way I've found is two fingers on front, thumb on here. You can adjust it with control, and then one hand to tighten it.
Gotcha. The same goes with your tether.
Yep,
rope.
same thing goes with my tether. So, I'm gonna go ahead and step up on here again. At this point, I just grab the tail end and pull and get it adjusted to where I want. And I kind of try to weight everything. So, okay, everything seems to be in where it needs to be. I got weight on my tether, everything's good. All right, I feel comfortable at this point removing my lineman. My lineman then rolls up and stores into our sys hauler here on the side. And that's where it'll live for the duration of my hunt. Just stays there right on my side. So now that I'm at this point, I reach into my pack here and I try and pack my things in order of when I'm going to need them. So the first thing that came out of this hauler was my tether. That's the first thing I needed. Next comes our hitch strap, and this is a public land friendly gear hanger. And so I'm a lefty. I'm going to want my backpack being on the left hand side because my bow is going to be on the right hand side of the tree. So you take your hitch strap, feed it through the loop on the end of your hitch strap, and these are about 6 feet long, so you've got a lot to work with. You can obviously trim them down if you're never in big trees. I like having the versatility. Once this is girth hitched through, you bring your T-hook around and catch one of the loops, and then by grabbing the tail here, you can cinch that down, and that locks that to the tree. So now, with any kind of a little S-beaner, I've got access to hang a rangefinder, calls, you know, little stuff, and I can hang it right there on the tree. At this point, I take my pack. The Predator pack has an included T-hook on it, but you could use an S-hook on any pack that has a loop on top. Reach over here, hang it from my gear strap, and at that point I have access to my pack for everything else, whether it's a bow hanger, whatever else. And the very last thing I would do is I use a retractable leash for my bow that's been hanging off of the back of me the whole way up. I pull up my bow and hang it, and then I'm sitting in my hunting position. Start to finish, if you take your time and you're real particular about every movement, you can be somewhere in the 10 to 15 minute range. I actually generally take a little bit longer, but I know guys that can do it in 6 to 7 minutes. I'm clumsy, so it takes me a little longer.
Takes you a little bit longer.
That didn't look clumsy.
Well, you got to also keep in mind that he's done this a whole bunch of times, so he makes it look easy. There's a learning curve when you go to a system like this, but
it's not hard to figure out, though.
It's not.
It's not.
If you do it 4 or 5 times in your backyard,
yeah,
it's done. You figured it out for the most part.
It's so much faster.
Like the first time I ever used it in a hunting situation, it was dark. We just like went right up and was like, okay, that's done. That's easy.
Yeah.
And I think the part for me that is so simple is, to me, that's a heck of a lot easier than I've never liked trying to hang a tree stand where I'm holding a stand and trying to reach around. Yeah. This thing's so light, it's quick. Then once you're up, you know, you get the tether on the tree.
If you can hang this off of your lineman as you've got weight on your lineman, that night ice tie, then it's just the only thing you got to deal with your hands is the strap.
Yep.
So it's kind of like you've seen some of the tree stand manufacturers offer a bracket. They put that on first, hang the tree from it, and then they do all the straps. It's a much more efficient, smaller version by hanging that off of your lineman's rope.
Yep. Next question everybody has is, how can you get as much shootability or usability out of a platform that is that size compared to a tree stand?
Okay.
It's like how...
Well, start from flip around with your back to the tree, like you would be in a tree stand, and demonstrate the shots that you can't take.
Yeah, so that's easy, right? So if I'm in a regular tree stand, I'm basically sitting like this. Yeah, and everybody who sets up a tree stand sets it up to where they want their primary shots to be. For a right-handed guy, you're going to set it up so it's easy to take this shot if you're in a tree stand. I'm a lefty, so it's this side, same type of deal. But in either situation, that shot causes a problem because you can't get there and still be on your tree stand, still be the way it's all set up.
Right.
So you're still only limited to, call it 270 degrees if you really work at it in any kind of a hang-on stand. Now when I turn around, obviously that deer that was on the other side of the tree, I'm staring right at it, it's easier. I can easily, by shifting my hips, pivot around, and I can get over here to where, this side, but I plan on these are my easy shots, right? Because that's the same type of deal. These are my easy shots. But unlike in the traditional tree stand, if anything comes in from behind me, it's nothing for me to get that. And if I really go extreme, using my platform, I can get right back over to that shot over here. So I've just covered 360 degrees around the tree. There is another trick that I can show you for getting that weird shot. I'm not a big fan of any situation where you bring your bow over and you get all twisted up in your ropes.
Yeah.
I'd rather go around the tree,
That was
one of
gonna
those
be
two
my next
directions.
question.
Either one of those two directions around the tree. On a bigger tree, it gets harder to swing around. On a smaller tree, this is even bigger than normally what I would be in at hunting height. I try to be basketball size or smaller. This is a little bigger than that, so it is a little more of a struggle to get all the way around here. But what you can do,
You have the same struggles though with the tree stand. Like the bigger the tree is, the harder,
Sure.
the less area that
It's
you
a trade-off,
have.
right? You get
Yeah.
better concealment, but you get less shootability. So
Yep.
it's just trade-offs. That's why we generally tell people, like Ernie said, to that basketball size seems to be about the sweet spot because it's
Yeah.
about as wide as you are, but then it's also easier to maneuver around the whole thing.
yep. And one thing I hear all the time, well, that's a lot of movement to get to the backside of the tree. Yeah, it is. But there is no backside of the tree if your back is to it. So would you rather have some movement and the ability to take the shot or no shot at all? And that's kind of the trade-off you're looking at there is, yeah, it's going to take some movement to get around to the backside, but at least you have the opportunity to take the shot. You know, that deer's not going to walk past while you're looking over your shoulders going, what do I do? Right? So one more trick, and I don't have a bow in my hand, so you're just going to have to visualize. I'm a lefty. I would grab my bow, okay? I take my non-bow hand in between me and the tree. And at this point, you don't adjust your tether. Don't do anything. Just take your non-bow hand, put it between the tree, stand up, and pivot. And now I'm locked in across the shoulder with my rope. I can lean into it. I got my butt against the tree, and I got that same weak side shot, very stable.
Do that slower. Ask and you shall receive.
Okay, so for a lefty, grab my bow. It's in my hand, I'm ready. Take this hand, bring it through like you would grab. Bring it through,
Clip.
pivot my feet, and right there. Now this rope is over my shoulder. It will just naturally go there as you spin around because you put your shoulder underneath. And now I've got access just like this. And I'm secure. This is not letting me lean forward. I can get into this really hard. So on a right-handed guy, it's the same move. Put your hands through, and as you see, when I do that, this carabiner, the bridge, this etc. goes right onto my shoulder.
And
So you do
spin
that,
with it.
and then just start pivoting your feet, and now I've got this shot.
Now you don't even have to do it. He did it really fast. You could, that deer's coming, the buck's going to be in this. You take your time, you stand up, you slowly pivot.
You're always doing that.
You're
though.
always doing
Always
it. So
whether you're in a stand, you're on the ground, you're in a saddle, platform, whatever. You're always making subtle, slight movements as they're coming in,
You have to be.
so that you could shoot them.
But yeah,
important to,
being
it's
able
important to point that
do
out
that and
because
get
he
locked
you know,
in.
he shows it and he moved quickly and you said slow
Right.
down. Well, he's doing it for since we're here in a
Yeah.
hunting scenario.
No, I just wanted him to slow down so I could figure out what was
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
I was like, that
And
worked really good.
It's literally just take your feet, and there's enough room on the platform here to do a little dance, and you just come around, come around, come around, and you're in. And that rope is naturally holding you over the shoulder.
that little scent wafer that everybody used to pin
Yeah.
their hats back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there.
I think maybe the
I think it
shirt.